Hi, guys. It's Mike and Ricky again. And this week, we are talking about episode 1 of Loki. Michael, how are you
Hi
doing,
there.
sir?
I'm okay. I'm a little irritated.
Irritated? Why are you irritated?
Me and my wife got in a little argument last night.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm sick and tired of this whole, double standard. Every time I look in my closet, she has taken my t-shirts, my boxers. She wears them around the house like it's, her comfy clothes, and it's my clothes. And, and she doesn't understand why I get upset. But one time I wear her dress, we have to have a talk about it.
It's the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Poe.
I have horrible pictures in my brain now. Thank you. I can't unsee that.
Well, at least I didn't do any Photoshops. Go ahead.
Here's a quick word from our friends over at Tatooine Sons.
Hey, nerds, this is David with Tatooine Sons, a pop culture podcast. We believe that pop culture is the mythology of our generation. There is a story, it is written on our souls, and that all of these myths speak to that story. And that is why every Tuesday I talk about Star Wars and Marvel and DC and Lord of the Rings and whatever nerdy things we can think of with my two sons, Sam and Nate. It is a 30 to 45 minute celebration of all the weirdness that we love so much. Basically, Mom said we couldn't talk about it at the kitchen table anymore, so we decided to start a podcast. We hope you'll check it out. It's on every podcast app out there. Tatooine Sons. That's Tatooine SONS.
I'm sure they love to be promoted on a cross-dressing show. So that's awesome.
I'm sure. Oh my goodness. What are we doing tonight?
I think we're doing Loki. Is it season 1 or season 2?
Season 2, episode 1.
Episode 1.
Loki.
That's right. Yes, before episode 2 ever comes out. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say we're recording this, and episode 2 will come out in 20 minutes. 25 minutes. So we got to make this a quick episode so we can go watch it.
Yeah, and go watch it, and then we come right back on again.
No, not doing that.
I ain't doing that. I'm tired. I'm not that dedicated. You want to show me some money, then I'm dead.
42 minute, 40-ish minute episode, though. A decent length episode.
I mean, that's without the credits or with the credits?
That's without.
Oh, okay.
It was like 50 with the credits.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I was happy.
Yeah.
Pleasantly surprised.
They always get me, the whole Marvel at the end kind of deal. We got post-credit stuff, and my deal is like, okay, maybe they'll have something after all the international credits. Of course, they never do. It's almost like, everything from Germany to Tokyo to Australia, and then, at the end, okay, well, that was nothing. So the post credit was the post credit, wasn't the post credit.
Yeah,
like in the movie theaters, right at the very end before the curtains come down. There you go.
I don't know what they're going to do, but maybe we should do some nerdy news.
Let's. I wish I was ready for that, but yes, let's do it.
It's time for the nerdy happenings of the week.
Are you time splitting? Because I just got a text you saying I'm coming. I bet you're time splitting. That's amazing.
I'm time slipping, apparently.
Oh, slipping, not splitting. That's a
different thing.
Like splitting atoms.
Something like that.
Okay.
Well, box office news this week.
Mm-hmm.
A new release takes number 1 place. The Exorcist Believer So it's October, and a scary movie takes the number one spot. Took first place with $27 million domestically,
Mm-hmm.
and another $17 million in the foreign markets. So global total of $45 million for The Exorcist, the new Exorcist movie.
That's
Um,
global.
Paw Patrol holds on to second place this week.
Mm-hmm.
And it added another $11 million domestically. That movie is doing really well. Like, I mean, almost $87 million as of this weekend.
I don't even know anything
And
about it.
Paw Patrol, it's a cartoon kids show.
Is it?
Yeah, CGI animated
I,
dogs that are like
no.
policemen and firemen and things. I've
I,
never watched it, but like
I
one
don't
of my my I started to say my nephew, but that's not accurate.
yeah.
It's I guess it's my great nephew
Mm-hmm.
watched it
Yeah.
and like was all into it at one point.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
so if you've heard of Bluey, kind of think of that, but they're like police and
No.
they're
I
like
got it.
cops and firemen and all sorts
Yeah.
of things like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you do
a
any
bunch
like drug busts? Do they do any like cocaine? Like any kind of like Hill
I'm
Street
waiting
Blues
for
kind of thing? Because that's something I would watch.
I'm waiting for Bad Boys Paw Patrol.
Oh yeah, yeah. Where one of the dog, yeah, had like Will
Uh,
Smith. Yeah,
oh my
slap
gosh.
Chris Rock. Yeah, that'd be
Whew.
good.
Okay, well, third and fourth place are movies that were doing decent last week.
Yeah,
Saw 10 came in third, and The Creator came in fourth. And I have seen some interesting things. Like The Creator looks really, really good.
yeah,
And I think the critic scores are okay.
yeah.
But I've had a few people mention people that, just watch movies
Mm-hmm.
that didn't care for the storyline all that much, that it was just okay.
Hmm.
So, but it's not doing great. Like Paw Patrol is still beating it. So, and
I,
then rounding out the top five was The Blind, which is that's the Duck Dynasty folks
no, yeah,
movie,
okay,
the
okay.
biopic. So,
Bio.
yeah, not
Okay.
super exciting weekend
No,
for
it's
us
not.
nerds,
Not
unless
really.
you're into horror.
The guy
Saw
with a
10
duck.
and yeah,
Guy who makes duck blow whistles or something like that.
yeah, duck calls.
Duck calls.
But that's where we are there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I'm still impressed. This is just a random. Barbie is still in the top 10. Barbie came in 10th.
Came in 10th. I should, this whole time I should have had some kind of a graphic for that, but that was a missed opportunity. But I didn't realize that every week she was going to hang on like that.
I know, it's so crazy.
It's like, yeah,
Well, in other news, Daredevil has come up.
yeah,
Daredevil Born
yeah,
Again. Some kind of crazy stuff here. And the Hollywood Reporter is saying that Marvel is looking at their television production
yeah.
setup and how they're doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe making some major shifts on how they do television. Now, I don't know. That's what Hollywood Reporter is saying based on this report from the Daredevil. So Daredevil Born Again, it was about midway through its production
Yeah.
before the writer's strike and the actor strike.
Okay.
And so executives told Feige, go look at what's already been done, come back and tell us what you think. And it sounds like it sounds like he wasn't super happy.
Hmm.
And basically saying the show wasn't working. So whatever that,
Okay.
and
Okay.
and the Hollywood Reporter doesn't use that as a quote,
Yeah.
but so I'm not sure exactly what they mean. But apparently they released both the writers They released all the directors for the remaining
Oh my
of
goodness.
the series, because
Oh
it's
man.
going to be like 18 episodes, and they were
Wow.
like
18 episodes?
yeah, it's
Oh,
supposed to be
that's
18 episodes.
wow.
It will be the longest. It will be the longest Disney Plus Marvel or Star Wars show that's come out so far.
18
That's since
episodes.
since
That's
Disney Plus. Yeah, really long.
I wonder
But
I wonder how
apparently
many
about half
episodes.
of them.
So half of 18 or around that
Yeah,
about?
so 8, 9, 10 had already been shot,
Oh, that's
but
ridiculous.
they released all the directors for the remaining episodes while they rework it.
Only thing I can do, they have to start from scratch. They have to start over, I would think.
I don't know. I mean, one thing I read says they're talking about reshoots. But if they let go of the writers, does that mean the writers have to go back and rewrite everything?
Well,
Or
that's what I mean. I mean, Charlie Cox, I like him. I mean, he's,
yeah,
and I was really psyched that they brought him back to play Daredevil because, again, I love the Netflix series of the Defenders, except for, blonde hair, Iron Fist kid. But yeah, so I'm kind of, I mean, if Kevin Feige doesn't like it, then I would rather him say, let's do this again. Because I think Kevin Feige has a good handle on MCU. So it's like good for him to say, okay, I don't want this crap out there. So hopefully, it's kind of like our Filoni of Dave Filoni of Star Wars. You're hoping Kevin Feige, he has that same standards of excellence. So I'm hoping that's the case.
Well, and we've got this Netflix Daredevil show that was so loved by fans.
Yes, I loved it.
So I mean, I don't know what.
I don't see a reason why they couldn't continue, but I guess I'm fascinated to know, any of the, so far up till now, none of the other casts, I can't remember her name, the blonde hair lady that was kind of a love interest for a while, for Charlie Cox character. What's Daredevil's name? It's
Matt Murdock.
Matt Murdock, his love interest. And then the guy who played was basically his partner, the attorney.
Yeah.
And of course, I can't remember his name either, but it was a turtle's name. Turby. Do you remember his name?
I don't remember.
Wow, this is working tonight. So go ahead and yeah, go ahead. I'll think of it in the middle of talking about Loki. I'm gonna blurt out the guy's name. But anyhow, continue.
Well, one thing that Hollywood Reporter said
Froggy
was, oh, yes.
Okay.
So one thing a Hollywood Reporter said that the new writers crafted a legal procedural that did not resemble the Netflix version. So that may be the issue.
So
I mean,
so you're saying they're not resembling the Netflix? Are they wanting it to or not?
What was being produced?
Yes,
did not resemble the Netflix season.
So it sounds like. So in other words, they're sounding like they want to have that same feel.
Maybe. And they said they were treating it like a legal procedural, like Law and Order.
Yeah.
Which is what I kind of wanted.
Yes, same here.
That's what I wanted from She-Hulk.
Yes.
I wanted Law and Order in the MCU. That's what I wanted from She-Hulk.
Yeah.
What I want from Daredevil is action and grit and grime and backstreet justice.
Yes.
And he has to clean himself up in the morning because he has a court case.
Yeah, like we do every night.
Exactly. It's like I don't care about the legal procedural in Daredevil.
Okay.
I
Okay.
want the grit and the backstreet justice.
Oh, I'm confused. It's like they look like they're. So he's saying that the show is bearing more of the legal side of it than they are of the
The
actual
current, apparently.
current. Okay.
And now he's saying we need to rework this
Okay.
because
Okay.
it apparently they veered too far off the path.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense to me.
And my thought was with She-Hulk, because she's a lawyer.
Yeah.
She-Hulk had no background
No.
in the MCU.
No.
It would have been kind of fun to see a legal procedural where
Mhm.
there's a new bad guy that she's either defending
Yeah.
or prosecuting every week. That could have been kind of fun and interesting, but they
Yeah.
didn't go that way.
No, they didn't do
Really.
that.
But anyway, so that's kind of interesting. That could shake things up. And Hollywood Reporter kind of implies that this change is not just a. Now, I am saying Hollywood Reporter is implying this
Mhm.
because nowhere in the articles have I read that Marvel definitely said this. But Hollywood Reporter is implying that Marvel is rethinking how they do all of their TV, all of their Disney Plus shows, not just this one, which could imply that some of the other ones didn't do as well, like She-Hulk.
Yeah, well, that's
which I mean, She-Hulk. I thought She-Hulk was kind of enjoyable for what it was.
Yeah,
It was absurdist, and that's fine if that's what you want. But a lot of people didn't like it because it was absurdist, and it didn't really. It kind of messed with the Marvel magic.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It was it's breaking down the third wall, kind of like what Daredevil is, very self-aware, very meta. So
yes,
and people for some reason thought it was going to be more serious, especially when you bring in Bruce Banner, the Hulk, who is so you're thinking, oh, he's going to be in it, so it's going to be a little more serious, but it even made it a little more campy. So, but I enjoyed it for what it was. Some of it was like, really, did you have to do the crunk with what's her name? It's like, really? So anyway, it's
there was some definite weirdness in that show,
some weirdness, but
but the whole thing was weird. So it even the weirdness fit because they were going over the top with everything.
Did you see Miss Marvel, by the way? Have you seen the Miss Marvel one, with the kid?
I have not watched that whole show.
It's really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay.
You might check that out.
I will have to watch it. I started watching it, and I don't remember when it came out. It seems like it came out right at the same time something else was going on in my life, and I just I couldn't get into the habit of watching it.
Yeah, no, I get
and
that.
I just haven't gone back to watch it now. I need to.
Well, the Marvels will be coming out and all that, but I really liked it. She was really good in it. So anyway,
with that Daredevil idea, the writers are kind of still taking votes, I guess. I haven't seen anything that says the writers have approved anything officially yet.
They made it, made it sound like they were going to happen soon, and nothing's happened yet.
They're supposed to have started voting Monday.
Okay.
And voting ends next Monday.
Next coming Monday. Yeah, that's a long time.
So, they have a full week to vote.
Wow.
Okay. But SAG-AFTRA is a little bit different. And, along with this Daredevil thing, if they're going to have reshoots, you got to have actors. Well, SAG-AFTRA, apparently the talks fell through this past week. And I've heard a little bit of both sides. I've heard that the actors didn't like what was offered, felt like the offer was worse than what it was previously. I heard another said that the studios basically walked away from the table. So I'm a little confused on what exactly happened.
Yeah.
But definitely the actors were not as happy as the writers were with the deal that was being offered. And AMPTP, the studios, stated that the gap between the parties was too great to continue bargaining. So definitely we're done with talks for now, and everybody's going to go home and figure things out, and hopefully we get talks again sometime in the near future. But right now, I'm not seeing anything about a date in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Now, something similar, I think, happened with the writers, where they came together and then it didn't work, and then they left, and then it was probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks before they said they were going to go back to the table.
Gotcha.
So I'm guessing we're still. I bet it'll be mid-November before we get something that's even votable.
Yeah. Yes. Go ahead and keep streaming, people.
Yeah. Well, and one of the comments, speaking of streaming, one of the comments was that the unions wanted a streaming revenue option, and that's one of the big sticking points, and that it was going to be too expensive for the studios. Like, what they were asking for was more than the studios were willing to give.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, because that was something that the writers managed to solve.
Yeah.
So how do we get to the point where the actors can agree that the streaming options are better?
It was going to get all passed down to the consumer. We're going to be paying like triple the price. I mean, prices are already going up. I mean,
I get a message every time I go into Disney that says Disney price is about to go up.
Hulu prices and Netflix already went up, and who knows who else. So anyway, we'll go back to cable, I guess.
We asked for this. Well, that's all the nerdy news I have. Do you have anything else?
No, I don't have anything to add to that. I think we can sign off on that. So let's go ahead and play that magical music.
And that's all for the nerdy happenings of the week.
There you go. The most exciting thing about our show is our our intros and our outros. That's how we bring people in. That's how we lure them in. I don't know.
Are you ready for some stupid news?
Yes, let's use another intro again. Let's do that. What just happened?
I think I must have double clicked it.
It's okay. Teaser.
Unmute myself. I failed to unmute myself. So let's try that one more time.
Let's do that.
It's the weird and stupid news with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
That was better. That was really good. That was nice. Yeah.
Helps when I unmute.
You know what? It does. It does. I was going to say something and leave it alone. So I guess this little segment we like to call Weird and Stupid News. Why? Because most of the news is weird and mainly stupid. So let's begin. Well, a woman was stopped by Customs and Border Patrol officers at the Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport last week after she was found with giraffe poop. That's right, giraffe poop, my friends. That she planned to make into a necklace, official says.
Oh, that's nasty.
I agree. That is very nasty.
Why?
I don't understand. What is it that makes you want to drape manure around your neck? I don't know. I mean, unless you enjoy flies, I don't know. Unless you like that, the look of corn around your, well, depending on what you eat, or giraffes. I guess giraffes, what they eat, you know. But yeah, the droppings were seized by border officials on September the 29th after a woman returning from Kenya declared that the animal feces, prompting an inspection by the CBP agricultural specialist, whatever that means. The passenger says that she obtained the droppings while on her trip and intended to make a necklace. Okay, again, same thing. Why? And okay. She told the CBP officers that she had previously used mouse poop to make jewelry at her home in Iowa. That makes it better. That makes it better. So, okay, so I feel so much better about this now. This is her thing.
This is her thing.
Yeah. Yes. Man. Okay. So the Kraviti poop was taken and destroyed. Exactly. Might as well be monkey poo or gorilla poop while we're at it. Good job. For a minute, I thought I accidentally hit that. That's awesome. Mind control. I like.
For those who are listening, I just threw up a video of a monkey throwing poop at the camera while Mike was having this conversation.
That's very good. That's right. So the giraffe poop was taken and destroyed by steam sterilization per the USDA protocol, officials said. They said there is a real danger when bringing fecal matter into the U.S.
Okay.
That's right. I mean, we love exporting fecal to other countries. Why not? It's a if a person had entered the U.S. and had not declared these items, there is a high possibility a person could have contracted a disease from this jewelry and developed serious health issues. The field operations agent said. So, there you go. I mean, poop has traveled, I guess. I don't understand the appeal.
I don't get it either, but
because for me, when I'm doing my thing, especially after 5 days of me not being able to take care of business, and I have a little bit something I like to call coffee, which makes me poop, and I finally takes care of business. The last thing I want to do is go, I wish I could make a bandana out of that. So,
all I can think of is every international traveler brings poop back, smuggles poop back.
Yes, they do. That's why they have. That's why they do those. That's why they have to wear those gloves. So, are you packing anything in there? Anyway, I think
why is that a thing?
I don't know, but it is.
Poop jewelry.
Hey, and our next little article, and yes, it's from Florida, so why not? That's right. So, man charged in a Viagra smuggling operations faces hard times.
That's what she said.
That's right. Oh, man. For a minute there, I thought I was going to... I thought we were going to pass.
That's what she said.
Okay, so... okay. Here we go. Florida man Reginald Kinser, who resides in a senior community, the Village, and oh my goodness, mastermind behind this pharmaceutical operation. He had more than $1,800 worth of little blue pills shipped to his door, and he didn't even have a prescription. He's, I guess in your 70s, you don't have time to wait around for a doctor's approval. So apparently he has a stash somewhere or some resources, but it gets better. The Village man wasn't just planning to hoard all the I don't know, you want to call it the go-go boosters, the whatever, we're just past that. off. They had something else written here. I'm not going to repeat it. But anyway, he wanted to share the wealth. According to the Justice Department, he was scheming to distribute them both locally and beyond Florida borders. I mean, my goodness, talk about going hard.
That's what she said.
And not only that, now you might be wondering how the authorities stumbled upon this geriatric Viagra kingpin. Well, it turns out that the Department of Homeland Security stumbled upon his stash during 2018 in search of his home. As for Mr. Kinser's fate, a trial is set for November, and if found guilty, he could be spending up to a year in federal prison with a fine up to $10,000. Wow. He said this is the first encounter with the law. He got himself in hot water back in 2020 for possession of a delightful cocktail of drugs. And he basically, he got off of probation then. But I think this Viagra operation will likely give him some hard time in prison.
That's what she said.
And that is stupid news.
Okay, it was really weird. I clicked the wrong one, number one.
Okay.
And it didn't play on my side.
Yeah.
Did it play on your side?
It played on my side.
It didn't play on my side till like halfway through. So now I'm going to click the right one.
Yeah, so let's not edit. This is good stuff. Okay.
This has been the Weird and Stupid News with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
Man, I think this might be the best show we've ever had.
Horrible.
Oh,
by the way,
yes,
I just wanted to give a poop update.
Yes, please.
On the poop jewelry.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, deer
Yes.
poop and moose poop jewelry
Yes.
is a thing
Is it now?
that you can find all over Pinterest. And then there is dinosaur poop jewelry.
Okay, how do you come across dinosaur poop jewelry?
I don't know, but and this one guy makes a dog poop jewelry.
Okay, that's
So just so you know, as weird as it is, apparently it's a thing.
it's a thing. And again, what we always like to say, why is it a thing?
Why?
Okay. Well, you know what? We never have anything lacking when it comes to weird and stupid news. So thank you, people out there in America, for doing us proud, and especially
Stay
Florida.
weird.
You know, Florida, you just continue being whatever you are. Okay, so yeah. So what's the show about again? I've totally forgot.
Loki season 2, episode 1.
Man, I hope we get a chance to see two.
If you haven't seen it yet, and
Yeah.
as of this recording, hopefully you've seen it because it came out like a week ago.
Yeah, go.
But if you haven't seen it, go ahead and just pause this,
Mhm.
go watch it, come back.
Mhm.
This is your spoiler warning.
Okie doke.
So, now we had already kind of decided we're not going to go episode by episode.
No, we're not
On Loki.
No.
And after watching the first episode, do you still feel the same?
Yes, I do.
So probably what we'll do is after it's done, we'll do a wrap up episode, maybe.
Probably. So I saw it for a second time, and I had to, this is the thing about this, folks. If you haven't seen season 1, well, you need to watch season 1. Season 2 is not going to make any sense to you. And
For sure.
But I think for me, when I watched it, I was really tired, and after watching it for the first time, I actually had to go back and reread, some of the stuff out there for season 1, and then it started making sense to me again, and then I can watch it, and then I started getting into it because it was mainly I came in with I've slept since then. We just did a whole entire month of Ahsoka, and then prior to that, some other thing we did, and so it was like, okay, it's time to get focused back on Marvel. And so,
now,
go ahead.
mind you, after you watched it the first time, you texted me.
Oh yeah, I said boring. With I gave you the
he
B
rated
for
it
boring. B for boring. Yes, I actually did.
Now, I thought it was funny and interesting that you did that,
Yes.
because you and I always harp on the idea that
I know.
cannot judge
I
a
know.
streaming series on
I know.
on one episode.
I know. That's why I should never ever be vulnerable to you. It was a hard day at work. People were mean, and Loki didn't do it for me. So anyway, I don't know.
Gosh.
I don't know. What did you think?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I'm a little unclear as to where we're going.
Yeah. And I was reading an article, and I think Feige, they were kind of talking to him about it, and Feige was saying, yeah, that's kind of what we were wanting. And I can understand. It's Loki is kind of all over the place. Mm-hmm. It's kind of, because of the, you're talking about the multiverse, and you're talking about the temporal, whatever that's going on, what I call it, the temporal, there's a name, the temporal something,
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. You can tell we have all our stuff together. But anyway, but
lots of stuff is falling apart.
Yeah, basically like the show. Yeah. So anyway, I saw it, and I had, like I said, I had to kind of familiarize myself with season 1 again. The one thing I say about the show, I really think Huddleston and Wilson really have good chemistry with each other. I do like their chemistry. And the thing about Loki is an interesting character, and it's interesting how especially after the end of season 1 and in beginning season 2, you almost forget that Loki is a villain. It's almost like you forget that he's the anti-hero villain, and you wonder when in all of this that our Loki that we know will come back. But he has this, it's almost, he has this weird, I can't call it a love interest, a friendship, I don't know, what do you want to call it, with the variant Sylvia. We saw some really touching moments from the last episode, and of course, the entire timeline is branching because Sylvia decides to, when they get to the end of the timeline, they kill the man who remains, he who remains. And of course,
which spawns all of the issues.
All of his issues. So,
which is supposed to spawn all the issues for all the MCU going forward.
Exactly. So, which I think is interesting. Here is this TV show. We'll call it TV show. And it's what causes this main explosion throughout the MCU film and theater universe as well. Yes. So that's fascinating to me, that how that's a thing. I mean, imagine back in the day that a movie would actually dictate what happens in the movie. A TV show would actually dictate what happened in a movie theaters. I mean, seriously. Yeah. So
that is a little unusual.
Yeah.
This whole idea of, Kevin Feige building a cohesive universe.
Yeah.
And that was a big question mark a long time ago. People were discussing the idea of, well, if it's super cohesive, that means you have to watch everything to understand anything.
Yeah.
And I think they've done a pretty decent job of compartmentalizing most things.
Yeah.
So that, if something happens here and you didn't see it, well, we're going to give you at least enough context for it to make sense. Now you made a comment of this episode being boring, and I'm not going to disagree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, and I throw this out on movies and shows all the time. You know, there's always that one episode, or that there's always that one in a movie. It's the one
Yeah.
scene that's way too long, and it's all exposition.
Yes.
You know, it's all people sitting around a table talking and explaining all the things that the audience needs to understand
Yeah.
for everything else to make sense.
Yes.
I think that's what this episode was.
I agree with it.
I think this episode was, you know, that exposition scene. And I think that's probably why you see it as boring.
Yeah.
And I could totally get that.
Yeah.
You know, there is a little action, but not much.
Yeah.
There's definitely some weirdness. But it kind of gets resolved in the end. Like, my big question, like, the whole point of this episode is Loki is time slipping, and that's not supposed to be possible in the TVA.
Yeah.
But it's not super clear to me. Now, Sylvia kicked him through a time portal.
Yes.
Okay, I get that. That's pretty straightforward. But I'm a little confused as to why that messed anything up for
I don't.
just Loki.
Yeah.
If it messed things up for everybody, you know, Sylvie kills He Who Remains.
Yes.
Okay, if that messed everything up for everybody and everybody was time hopping all the time, because that would kind of make sense.
Okay.
Why did it only affect Loki?
Well, and the other thing I'm thinking of, and maybe I'm, you know, like again, I'm not getting, I don't have a full understanding of what's going on here, but so the whole idea for him to stop time slipping is that they had to do this really ridiculous thing where they had to somehow pull him out and basically purge him. That's the term
from every timeline.
From every timeline. Now, if that happens, does that not destroy variants as well? That's what I didn't understand.
That is a little counterintuitive as well, because if variants, that doesn't make sense logically in this, in the way this works.
Yeah.
Like, wait, are we only killing off the variants of this Loki?
Yeah.
But then wait, what about Kid Loki and Crocodile Loki and you know, comic accurate old guy Loki and and Sylvie?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We know Sylvie still
exactly.
exists.
Yeah.
So that is a bit of that doesn't quite make sense.
No. So, and I mean, I've never known Marvel to overlook stuff like that. I mean, as far as, I mean, leaving with the Kevin Feige.
I was going to say they're pretty good at covering big plot holes.
Yeah.
They are susceptible to leaving threads undone.
Yeah.
You know, like you start a thread on a, you know, you land on some random planet and you meet this kid who is an Easter egg to something that never gets talked about ever again. You know, whatever it is. I don't even know. But that's kind of, that's the things that I've felt like Marvel kind of drops the ball on sometimes. We got all these little threads that we've weaved, and some of them we're just going to leave them alone.
Yeah, well, some of there's little Easter eggs and stuff they throw in there, but I would think this would be a bigger hole if I was guessing. For me, anyway, it is. I mean, what's the difference between, you know, okay, we're going to purge all the Lokis from the other timeline so he's not slipping and he's the only one, so he can stay in the presence. So if that's the case, okay, well, then is it a different situation with, well, they're all considered variants, right? I mean, there's variants. That's the confusing part, listening to how everything works in this.
So the only way I can understand this is that variants are one thing,
Yes.
but the Loki that we know from the main Marvel MCU
Yes.
is time slipping. So technically there's multiple of him that
Yeah.
are actually not variants. There's
Okay.
just
Yeah.
multiples of him
Yeah.
slipping through time.
Okay.
So maybe that's how they're trying to spin this.
And that could
But
be. That's
at the same
that's the only way I can
time,
think of it. Yeah.
they solve it, so it's not like a major thing that's going to be happening throughout the episode
No,
or
it's not.
throughout the season.
No, it's not.
This was the monster of the week that
Yes,
they
it
had
was.
to solve.
Yeah.
I think the bigger interest part here is now the TVA knows things that it had forgotten.
Yeah.
And that is throwing everybody for a loop.
Oh yeah, there's fractions now within the TVA. I mean, you have the military part doing its own thing. You have, I mean, it's just chaos, really. And of course, the focus of the military is going after Sylvia, which,
well, did you catch the line at the end?
Yeah,
that can't all be for Sylvie.
Yeah, exactly.
Something else is going on.
Yeah.
That's a big hint. So, my guess is that was too big of a hint to not be something that's happening.
Well, and the other thing too, and the other thing too, I kept reading on the on different sites and forums was the telephone call, the ringing of the telephone.
Yeah,
where Loki he's time slipped someplace else, and he's got this. He has the a little disc with the timer on it, and when it turns green, it's where it's ready for him to do this whole time slip thing. I mean, trying to be taken out to purge himself. And so, but there's this ring, and he keeps approaching on the end of the hallway, and there's this ring, and then this ring.
Yeah.
And apparently it's supposed to be a thing. And then that's when you saw Sylvia with the, open up it looks like elevator doors. And then all of a sudden you see him kind of, I guess, just purging whatever his body did, just kind of, basically. So I don't know. That's another thing too. What's the phone calls about? Is that going to be something that's going to be important later on? I don't know. We introduced some new characters. We've got OB, which is, you call him Dr. Jones. And
I'm glad to see him acting.
I like him, and he was on Goonies too. So, but as well, but
with a lovely name of Ouroboros.
Yes, which after Googling it, makes me wonder if he's more of a threat.
That is a big question mark, since Ouroboros is the snake eating its own tail. For those who are not in the know, that is the ancient symbolism there.
Yeah.
So that's a question mark. Like, is this character going to play a bigger role, or is he just going to be in the one episode and call it good? Now they're, they Marvel is good at, telling you somebody's going to be in every episode or not going to be in every episode. And then they change it on IMDb all the time. So that's a question mark in my brain. The name seems too big a reference for him to just be a nothing. He could have been anybody. Now I do think it's funny that he doesn't remember things until Loki time slips.
Yes, I was going to mention that. That's really was one of my favorite scenes. That right there. That whole
That is an interesting twist of time.
Yeah.
When they say time travel doesn't work like that, whatever, however your description of time travel, everybody goes, that's not how time travel works. It works like this. Well, so, but there's big flaws in that because if it's not a single stream, every time Loki time slips and does something, then it should be a new branch and not the original timeline
Gotcha.
that he
Yeah.
flips back into. So that
Yeah.
gets a little weird.
Let's get weird. Yeah.
But I do like the idea that, yeah, we've never met. Wait, I
Wait.
did meet him once, only because I'm meeting him right now in the past. Now, that's an idea of everything happening all at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like the character. It's really funny. What was the one scene? And I don't know what the device. Do you happen to have whatever the name of the device is? And he
Oh, I
says,
don't remember what he
and he
called it.
says, "Yeah,
Something dumb.
I just was something dumb." But then all of a sudden, he pulls it up. He pulls the device from under the counter and saying, "Yeah,
Oh, I
I
do have
actually
one of
do
these.
have one." So, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. This, so he kind of has some comedy relief there, but I, and I didn't think you mentioned this before, and I was the same way. I didn't think we were going to see Sylvia this soon. And of course, of all places, Broxton, Oklahoma is where at the she
yes.
boom, and we did a little research being
So,
this being from
yeah,
Oklahoma, the two of
when
us.
I saw Braxton, well, first of all, let's start with the Marvel reference.
Yes, let's
When
go
I
ahead and
saw
do that.
Braxton on screen, I was 90% sure I recognized that name
Yeah.
from Marvel. And I went and double checked it just to make sure. And sure enough, for those who read Thor comics, it's probably mid 2000s, early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. But there is a time period where Asgard is rebuilt, New Asgard is rebuilt, and it floats slightly above Braxton, Oklahoma.
Gotcha.
So, in the MCU, New Asgard is somewhere else. I don't remember where it is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not where it is in the Marvel comics. It's floating above Braxton. And you made the comment of, well, she goes to McDonald's. So we went and double checked because we're from Oklahoma. And I'm like, is there actually a Braxton, Oklahoma? So I looked it up. It is in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And like the closest McDonald's is probably 30 or 40 miles away. Like Braxton.
I don't think she walks that far, does she?
I don't think
she...
so. Like the best I can guess is Braxton appears to be a four-way stop where a dirt road meets a paved road.
Exactly.
There's a little white church that doesn't have a parking lot. There's a very large building that appears to be abandoned, and nothing else.
That's right.
However, I will say, when you see that field, pull that picture up where she's standing. Other than it looks like she's on top of a hill, that's pretty much what it looks like. Except it's probably has less trees than that and flatter.
Yeah.
But it's very similar.
But apparently they have, in this universe, they have a McDonald's, a 1983 McDonald's, apparently. And that's where we see Miss Sylvia, where I guess she has this, after the hardest time that she's had from season one, I guess she wanted something simpler in life. And then what was the thing she said to the end? What would you like to have? And she looks around, and it was almost like this great commercial for McDonald's. I wonder how much money they're getting out of the deal. And all suddenly she says, I want everything, which is probably going to be their new slogan now at McDonald's. I want everything.
Get everything.
And, but yeah. And actually it was funny. I read an article about that where Kevin Feige, I don't know, it was Feige, but anyway, they were talking with McDonald's, and McDonald's was concerned about it because they thought they were going to kind of use them as the butt of their joke. But they said, no, we're trying to invoke nostalgia and the sense of as a kid and that kind of warmth thing. And that's what Sylvia is looking for. She sees that something, I don't know, wholesome or whatever there. And that's from the article I was reading I just read it in an article a couple of days ago. I thought it was fascinating because I wonder, it had on there, why McDonald's? And so there you go. So Braxton, Oklahoma is a place, but it has no McDonald's. And if you're lucky, you'll see one building in a 4-way
Maybe
street.
that should be the title of our episode.
What's that?
Does Braxton, Oklahoma have a McDonald's?
People are going to Google that like crazy. It's going to be in the main YouTube search, and we're going to pop up everywhere on that. So,
this is a weird episode.
It's a weird episode.
Really was.
But like you said, you already schooled me about it, but because it's been my thing, I've been saying it on every single series that we talk about. You can't judge it by one episode. And this is the setup. That's how I feel. It's the setup.
Yeah. Oh,
and
it's
things
setup.
and now it's the setup, and I think things are just going to start going. And Sylvia is an interesting character, and it's throughout this whole thing, I thought it kind of funny. Is it good that it's almost like they can't decide what's good, to purge, to protect, or not to purge, to also to let people live. It's a very weird dichotomy that's going on here. It's like, well, we need to purge the timeline to keep the comment at the end. Yeah,
the comment at the end of where they say that can't all be for Sylvie.
Yes,
makes me think maybe they are going to go attempt to purge
I agree.
a bunch of timelines.
Yes.
And that's going to be what Loki has to go now stop.
Yeah. Makes sense.
We'll have to see how that all plays out.
That's right.
But it'll be interesting. A quick note, since this episode, we're recording this episode as the new episode comes out.
Yes.
The title of the new episode is Breaking Brad. Brad. I don't know who Brad is.
I don't know who Brad is. Hopefully it's not a meth version of the show. Interesting. And also, folks, of course, this Halloween is coming up really soon. And of course, the week after next, I will be gone. I will be gone on the 26th through the 31st. So I think next week would be a good time to do our Halloween special. So if you want to be a part of that, we broadcast every Friday. So check us out then. We're on speakingnerdy.com, where you can find all our audios and our YouTube channel there. You can go to Spotify, you can go to Apple, iTunes, the whole bit. If you want to, just type in Speaking Nerdy and we will come
follow us on all of them and subscribe on all of them.
Yes. And then create 20 accounts and do the same with them and tell your friends to do the exact same thing. And then we'll have this.
We want to be number one.
We want to be number one, not number two. No, we have greater aspirations. We want to be number one.
We should strive to be the third biggest podcast.
You know what?
Just the third biggest.
You know what? I'd be happy with that. Even the fifth. You put me on the top 5, I would be happy. That would be good. Let's.
Oh my gosh.
Give me the bronze. Is there anything under the bronze? I don't know. It's like construction paper. I don't know. I don't know what's underneath the bronze. But anyhow, folks, if you can leave your comments below, again, check us out. Again, we have our Facebook page and all that other good stuff. Again, you can go to speakingnerdy.com and you'll have all that great information there. And tell your friends, subscribe, especially on our YouTube page. Help us raise the numbers. That way we can, I don't know, sit around all day in our underwear. Well, we do that anyhow. Well, I don't. I do it at work in my underwear. So anyway. Ooh. So anyhow, folks, I don't have anything else. Anything you want to add to all that goodness?
I don't have anything else. I'm just interested to see where Loki goes from here.
I know. I think it's going to get better. I think I think a faster pace is going to happen. I think we're ready to see Loki and Sylvia and yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more going on here. And also, we'll make, and my true is, is Loki going to continue to be our anti-hero, or is he going to go back to his old ways? Well, we'll need to continue to watch and see. I am Mike Schilling, and this is my good friend Ricky Pope. I think we should call it good.
This has been the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Pope. Man. But yeah, I mean, you just borrow a dress one time and you think, oh, look at him. But you borrow all my boxers and t-shirts. Not a big deal. I don't understand. Double standards. Thought this was the new America.